share the mic. All right. Thank you very much. Courtney, if you don't mind, initial comments, please.
Yeah, I mean, it's the beauty of March, and it's the brutality of March. You know, the worst thing to do is to walk into a locker room and, you know their heart hurts and tell them it's over, right? It's just the worst, as you can imagine. And also, it's also when you know your product and who they were out there, you're also proud of them. So it's that weird mix. You know, I asked them to be what they have been all year, which is a group of fighters. I asked them to be locked down defensively. I asked them to make shots, make plays, be stars. We asked them to be hard to beat. And we thought those things would get us to a Sweet 16. They did all of those things, right? But you got to be so good to win in March, so good. And we just were not quite good enough, right? We had a few too many careless turnovers. We won't like some of our fouls. We won't like some of our missed layups. They won't either. It's a possession game. On the road, all the things. So we just weren't quite good enough. Credit to Ohio State. They had to beat a really good team, and they did. And they get to continue on. So credit to them. They're as happy as we are sad. That's just how March goes. So I'd be nowhere without these three for all the obvious reasons and also all the not so obvious reasons. How they stuck by each other. They stick by me. They believe in our program and what they've meant to us. So they should really be the ones that are talking.
Great. Thank you. We'll go ahead and open up the floor for questions.
Daniel Wade, Daily Tar Heel. Question for Alyssa and Kennedy. When Deja goes out, you guys kind of started activating, scoring. What was going on through your mind, and what was working for you guys?
There's one thing we say before every game is that we got each other's backs. So when Deja went out, we huddled together and we're like, guys, we got this. We're doing it for Deja, and we're doing it for all of us to give us the best chance to win.
Yeah, I would definitely say we just fought with the younger guys in there too. They definitely locked in, and I thought that was a big moment for us because both Deja and Eva had went down, and I thought that was a really big moment and a key turnaround for us.
Deja, Arnhem Tribune. Can you tell me something about you ran into a screen and just fell awkwardly? Tell me about that, and then the emotions of going back to the dressing room and coming back and seeing what the score was.
Yeah, I ran into the screen, went down. But I was, as soon as I went down and they were taking me back, the only thought in my mind was, what's the score, what's the time, and what do I need to do to get back on the floor? So I was back here in the hallway with our doctor trying to figure that out, and when I came back and saw the score, I knew that they had my back too when I went down, so they held it down for sure, and I was excited to get back out there.
And what was the injury? Just a...
Well, we won't call it an injury yet, but a knee.
Did you think you might not be able to get back in there?
It was up to the doctor, but I wasn't going to go down without a fight. So really, I wasn't going to take no for an answer.
Raise your hand and we'll get the microphone to whomever.
Obviously, injuries were a big factor all season. Originally, you were down 2 starters, and then suddenly you're down 2 starters at the end. This seemed to typify the way the season went.
Yeah, and my mother's always called me a happy idiot, and I think she's right. There's an element of happy idiotness in me, which is I just don't worry about that in the moment, right? So Deja out, she means a lot to our program, but look who we do have, right? And so it's just, it is a microcosm, so it's easy to talk about that we've had a lot of adversity, right? We've had in, out, we haven't practiced as a whole group much, but it's also just as easy to talk about the resolve that the others have shown. It's hard to be the guy out, it's also really hard to be the guy that's leaned on. And so I don't know how many miles or minutes Toddy in particular and Deja have logged this season, but more than they should, right? Because they needed it. And so, it's where there's a bad thing, which is what a bummer it was to lose 2 significant contributors most of the year, name who they are, whoever, and also in this game. But it's worse to not have guys behind them who can hold their back.
Deja, coming out of halftime, it looked like Eva had been crying a little bit. You were consoling her. I'm guessing it was an emotional locker room at halftime?
Yeah, she just cares. She cares so much, and she just wants to be good for us, good for the team, and contribute in any way that she can. So, you know, especially being a fifth-year senior where this could possibly be her last game, you know, emotions are high. But I was just talking her up and telling her, reminding her how much we need her and how no matter how her shots were going, no matter how, you know, the game was going, just that we had her back just like she's had ours all year.
And the last play, obviously, long pass, you thought you'd get an inside bucket from Alyssa there.
Mm-hmm.
How was that supposed to go?
Yeah, I mean that, right? We brought someone to the ball, brought Deja to the ball, so we knew that would draw a crowd, and we liked the matchup of Alyssa on one, which is what they came out in, is that matchup. And so with 1.8 seconds left, and you saw how the game was being called, right? We weren't expecting that to be helpful. And so we were trying to get her at the rim. And, you know, when you're in a possession game, you have an opportunity to lose them just as much as you have to win them. And we won one here and we lost one here.
Anyone else with questions? Over here to the left, please. You can state your name and your organization, please.
Dion Cash, Fox Sports, Dayton. Back and forth game, kind of a physical game, but you guys get it to tie score. What's the mentality going through each of you guys' minds? And you guys are juniors, so you know I know you got another year, but you're not thinking like that. But you know, when it's tied up, what are you thinking at that point?
We're thinking one possession at a time. When we're on defense, we're all talking to each other the whole time, saying we need to stop, we need to stop. And then when we get on offense, we're trying our best to work together to construct a good look to give us the best chance we can. And so it's always just about the present moment. So whichever end of the ball we're on, that's the one that we're locked in and focused on. And I thought as a collective, our group did really well on focusing at the task at hand and buying into our assignments.
Especially with the younger guys in that situation, I think me and Alyssa were really just saying, like, it's all right, like, we're good, like, with the younger guys, having that experience, one possession at a time, like she said, and we just keep going. I mean, it doesn't stop, just because they score a point, we got to go down on offense, get a stop, all that.
Coach, this is for you. You got a great nucleus of players. You always have a goal, obviously, to win it all, but it feels like a really successful season for you. Talk about that for us a little bit real quick, and you too, Ms. Kelly.
I'll go first. Want me to? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these guys have been with me since I got here, right? They were the first phone calls I made, and they're proving me right? They're proving me right, not just because of their talent, but because of their fortitude, as you saw today. And they're competitive as hell, so it's not always easy, right? But they work through it, and in college athletics, there's so much volatility, right? There's so much inconsistency now. That's a choice, right? You can choose that. We've chosen to have more stability where we can, right, and develop our guys and trust them and whatnot. And so everyone does it differently. There's no right or wrong way. I mean, it's through the draft or through the portal or however you want to do it. But these guys have a ton of experience, and that's partly why their hearts are so heavy, right? Is that they had to rely on a lot of young guys today because we were out, we had a lot of minutes, et cetera. But, these guys have proven me right. I know there's been a lot written about them as a group, and there should be, right? They're all that's right as competitors and people, and what they're wearing on the front of their jersey matters to them. And that can get lost sometimes in college athletics, and it just is not lost on them, right? And that's why in these games when I kept saying each possession, like, just keep at it, just keep at it, just keep at it, right? That's who these guys are. They just keep at it, right? So, these guys should have their story, and those stories should be told and retold and retold, and we'll see what they can continue to do together.
Yeah, one thing I'll say about our group, our core, is just, our like mindset. I think that's something that's kind of brought us along and brought us together throughout the whole season and throughout the 3 years that we've been here. Is we've set goals, just really our class together. We set goals for ourselves for the things that we wanted to accomplish while we were here in North Carolina. And, coming up short, obviously, it hurts all of us, I think, the most, just because we know the conversations we've had, the hard work that we put in together. I think that's why it means so much, is because we've been through all of it literally together. And personally, I wouldn't want to go through it with anyone else. God, I'm going to get emotional. But, yeah, it just hurts. But, again, I think our group is really special. And, we're not done. But we'll sit in this one for a little bit. But, yeah, I wouldn't take anyone else.
We're going to go to a question on Zoom. Mitchell, if you can hear us, please ask away.
Yeah, Coach. Deja just talked about this core, and there's so much roster turnover in college basketball nowadays. But it seems like it's going to be another offseason where you're kind of going to return pretty much the same kind of core group. How exciting is it? I know this loss stings right now, but to run it back again with this core.
It's obviously good for college basketball when good players stay together, right? That's the continuity on that for their games and their development. But I think also the thing, Mitchell, is this is a group that has gotten better, right? And so as you think about where they were when they first came and where they are now, I mean, statistically, from a statistical standpoint, they've really improved. And so as you think about, you're going to give me, what is it, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, you're giving me 6 months with these guys to get them better. I like that. I think these guys they're gym hungry. They've got to do some work on their bodies to get healthy and ready to go. But yeah, I'm excited because I know they'll get better. Like this, they're just an ever evolving. That's partly what the story needs to be, is how much better these guys have gotten. They're not just like resting on their laurels of being good. So I just look forward to, growing Toddie's game and growing Alyssa's game and growing Deja's game in a way that that they're sitting up here talking about other things than being almost there.
Any other questions here from internally here? No? Ladies, thank you very much. Thank you for your graciousness.
Thank you.